Namaste. Welcome. This is a 1-hour Hatha flow class, and we'll be taking things fairly mellow, so really holding postures for a while and taking some time to get started. So go ahead and just find your seat for a moment. And say cross-legged or on your feet if that's more comfortable. Hands in lap or on knees. And most important, the spine is straight. And just take these first few moments to draw your attention inward to the space of the heart. Turning your attention away from the thoughts and all the busyness of the day. Just toward that inner light. And as you hold your attention there, take deeper breaths in and out, fuller breaths in and out. And in. And out. Continue in that way for just a little while. One more breath in. And one more breath out. Continue breathing in this way. Inhale, reach your arms out and open all the way up. And exhaling out. Inhale, open. Exhale out. Inhale, open, up. Exhale, twist to the left. So your right hand, left knee, left hand behind. Inhale here. And exhale deeper. Inhale. And exhale. One more time. Release, face forward, inhale up. And straight to the other side. Last breath in. And out. You're releasing your grip. Let yourself come forward, inhale up. And just let your left hand come down and stretch and reach through your right arm. Push. Inhale, come back up. And other side. Inhale, reach back up. Hands to the heart. Inhale, open the arms out wide, push your chest forward. Exhale, reach back, round back, bring your palms forward. Inhale, forward, arms open. Exhale, back. One more time, forward. Exhale, back. Let's bring the palms to the heart, sit up. And unravel your legs. We're going to come into tabletop. In cows and cats. Inhale, cow, tilt your hips. Exhale, arch, push, round, out. Inhale, cow. Exhale, cat. Inhale, cow. And exhale, cat. One more time, cow. Exhale, cat. And push all the way back into child's pose. Keep your arms active. Inhale, come forward. Roll over your hips and lift up into upward facing dog, so knees off the floor, lifting your heart up. Exhale, knees down, cat tilt all the way back to child's. Inhale, forward, same thing. And back. Last time. Inhale, up. Forward, lift, so you're just on your hands and the tops of the feet. Knees down, all the way back. Now, just lift your hips a little bit. Sit, cross your right heel over your left, so your right ankle over your left. And you're going to sit back and put as much weight down on the heels as you can. You might want to be on your right heel on your left side. Take your hands, bring them behind your back, make a fist, pull them to the right, and squeeze your elbows back behind you. And now we're going to bring the hands behind the spine, and we're going to roll the shoulders open. We're going to bring our head down, tuck the head, lift the hips, uncross your legs, and find a rabbit pose. So your arms are reaching overhead. Palms can be together or apart. Notice which thumb is on top. As you sit back, cross your left ankle over your right. This time, switch your grip and bring your arms over to your left side and squeeze the shoulders back. And it can help to roll the shoulders up, back, and down to feel the engagement here. And now, same thing, we're going to roll down and bring the hands to the middle, lift up and cross your legs, and back into that rabbit. Now we're going to sit back on the heels, so you don't cross, and you're going to release your hands for a moment. You can just release and stretch them if you like. Then you're going to bring them right back behind you while you sit on your heels. And if you can, you just grab forearm to forearm, or you can take reverse namaste, that palm to palm prayer hands, and you can try to wedge them towards each other and up towards the shoulder blades, and then roll your shoulders back again. And let your hands come down. Bring them in front. Lift your hips. Tuck your toes. Try to get all 10 toes on the floor as much as you can. The inner sides of the feet are together. Sit back and put weight on your heels. Now, you may need to use your hands if you have blocks. This can be useful for blocks, but we're going to bring our knees a little wider, and we're going to lean back, and we're going to try to come up into toe stand pose and stay in the balance. It's a little tricky to do this, actually. Inhale here. And we're going to exhale up and into divers pose. You're going to reach back, stay on the balls of your feet. This is a strengthening exercise. Then inhale all the way up, if you can, on the balls of the toes, reach up, higher. Exhale back into divers. Inhale back into toe stand. Exhale to divers. Inhale all the way up. Divers. Inhale back down. And exhale, bring your knees down. Extend your feet. Inhale, step your left foot forward, tuck your right toes, reach your arms up. Exhale, twist. Any variation you like. You have time. You could open your arms out, you could take a twist or bind. Empty your breath here. Inhale, we're going to roll up. And we're coming to a half camel pose. You're going to reach for that back heel. You put your hand on your hip if you can't reach the heel. And then you can reach the left arm up. Try to square your shoulders towards the ceiling, your chest to the ceiling. You can bring your hand to your head if you like. You can reach straight back. Lift and stretch. On inhalation, pull yourself up. You might bring your right foot over towards your left side of your mat so you're a little more stable. And you're just going to come into an angle. You're going to push your forearm on the inside of the knee, but don't let your knee push out towards the edge of your mat. Keep it over the ankle. Stretch between your fingers. Open. Inhale here. Exhale, you're going to swim that right hand forward, plant it on your mat, reach for your left ankle. Now your right foot may need to go over to the right side a little. You're going to come up and lift, holding that ankle, opening to the side. Then you're going to release that leg, reach your arm up. You're going to bring your leg straight out to the side. And you're going to set it down and put both your hands on the floor. Inhale, reach your right arm up. Exhale, reach it underneath you and curl and reach across. Inhale, reach back up. Exhale, curl. Last time, inhale, reach up. Exhale, curl under, and you can reach for your calf, ankle, or foot, and bring your shoulder to the floor or block. Feel your right hip pulling back to create length on that side of the body. Your left hand can stay on the floor, it can reach up. There's a half bind here if you like. Now you can release whatever you're holding on to. Push back into that left hand. Inhale, reach all the way up. Open to the other side. Exhale, hand down, cat tilt here. And a cow. And a cat. And use that cat to just swing your left leg back behind you. Inhale here. Exhale, knee towards nose. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale, knee towards nose. Inhale, lengthen. Last time, knee towards nose. Extend back, lengthen, right arm reaches up in front of you. Lengthen in both directions, forward and back. Then bend your left knee, reach back for your left ankle, and kick. You re-extend, lengthen, hand and knee down. Exhale all the way back to child's pose. And we'll repeat as we did earlier. Inhaling, coming forward, coming into that up dog. And back to child's pose. Inhale, up dog. And back. Last time forward. And back. Slide your hands towards you. Sit up on your heels. Bring your hands behind you. And we're going to push up into just a sort of a gentle partial camel here. So you're just lifting your hips. You let your head hang back. Roll your shoulders back behind you. Inhale here. Exhale. Sit back down. Before we do the other side, we're going to do a posture from the Tibetan yoga tradition called the athlete's hammer, which we often do in class. So your hands interlace behind your head. We're going to start by doing it with the breath. So you can inhale, lift your heart up. Exhale, curl down, bring your knees and elbows together. Don't rest on the ground. Inhale, reach all the way up. Exhale, curl all the way down. Inhale, all the way up. Exhale, all the way down. This time, sit back on your heels. Come up. And you're going to step your right foot forward for that twist. We're doing the other side now. Inhale, reach your arms up. Hands to the heart. Twist. Find your twist. We'll empty here. And again, we're coming up. And we're reaching back with that left hand for the heel or for the hip. Roll your chest up towards your ceiling and reach back. Head and hand together or reaching the arm out. Use your inhalation to draw you up. Find that warrior two. Again, your left foot may go over towards your right a little bit. And then just bring your forearm back behind the knee. Push the knee and the forearm together and stretch and open. Inhale here. And we're going to exhale, we're going to swim that left hand down. Left foot may go over towards the right side. You're going to take your ankle. And you're going to kick again. Now release and extend. And then that right leg comes over to the side and you set it down and your right hand swims down. Inhale, left arm up. Exhale, curl under. Inhale up. Exhale under. Last time up. And come under. Reach for what's available to you. Bring your shoulder down. Right hand does what your left hand did before. Empty here. If that right hand is somewhere else, put it back on the floor. Release your grip on your leg. Inhale, reach up with the left. Exhale, swim it down. Your left leg goes back. Inhale here. And exhale, knee towards nose. Inhale, reach. Exhale, knee towards nose. Last time. Exhale in. Inhale, extend that leg back. Left arm comes forward. And when you're ready, the right knee bends. Reach back and kick. Inhale, extend. Exhale, down, cat tilt. Inhale, cow. Exhale, cat. All the way back. Hands come in. Sit up again. So we're doing that same athlete's hammer movement, but this time you have the option of holding the breath and moving more quickly. So you'll inhale. Up here, hold the breath and just go down and come up. Draw the elbows down, come up. You can do it 3, 5, 7 times, and then when you come up for the last time, exhale and bring your hands down. So let's all inhale here, unless you're going to just use your breath the whole time. And begin. Exhaling when you're ready. Inhale here. Reach your arms up. Exhale, just bring them forward. Take one more cat tilt here. Last dog tilt. Cow tilt. Tuck your toes. Downward facing dog. You can pedal it out. First down dog. Then start to let the heels reach back. The hips lift up. So we'll come forward to a plank pose. And we're just going to exhale and tip over. You can drop your left knee down. We're going to take a side plank. And in your next exhalation, you're just going to look down, plant the hand, find your alignment, tip over, inhale, open up on the other side. Inhale in here. And again, looking down, hand, knees, chest, chin. Inhale through, cobra or up dog. Over the toes, downward facing dog. So we're going to sort of do a standing version similar to what we just did on our knees. We're going to start with the right leg, and we're going to inhale and reach it up behind us. And we're going to exhale, knee to nose. And inhale up. And again, knee to nose. Inhale up. And this time, knee to nose, but step your foot forward. Stay on your back ball of foot. Inhale, come up, reach your arms up. And when you're ready, come down and take your twist. Any variation. You can drop the back knee if you need, or leg. And now we're going to pivot. We're going to put that back foot on the floor and spin up into warrior two. So adjust your stance as you need to. Flip your front palm. Inhale, reach and lift. Inhale here, reach and stretch. And exhale, side angle. So you have the option of side angle here. Rest your elbow on your knee gently. Bring your hand to your ankle or the floor. Inhale, come back up. Straighten your front leg. Gather your legs towards each other. Exhale out for triangle pose. So as long as you can, then pivot. We're going to take this into half moon pose. So you can bring your hand to your hip, bend your front knee, reach forward, hand to floor or block, left leg lifts, right arm can come back up. Inhale here. Swing the hand down, take a big step back into your lunge, hands on the floor. Then drop your back knee, extend your foot, let your hips roll forward. Come up, hands on your thigh. You can stay here, or you can reach up for crescent moon. Inhale up if you're leaning back. Exhale, bring your hands down. Now inhale, straighten your front leg, flex your foot, and fold. And here we're going to come all the way down. So if you need to sit on a block or a bolster or a blanket, go ahead. Your knees are as close together as you can bring them. If it splays out, that's fine. But closer is better if you can. Foot is straight back. Inhale, reach up with your left hand and reach for your right foot. If you find yourself tipping to the right, just use your right hand to brace you. And if you don't need it, you can bring it forward also. You could use a strap here if you're more stiff. You could be holding your foot with a strap or a belt. And we're going to come up. And now one more pose on the floor before we start moving towards the other side. You're going to open your knee out this time. So you could be a 90-degree angle between your right leg and your left thigh. Inhale, reach up. Exhale, you can just bring your hand down and stretch. You could go further down. You could bring your shoulder to the floor and reach for the foot. Reach back. Break the pose, come up. Here we're going to put our hands between our thighs, and we're going to press forward so we can push our hips up and come into a wide-legged stance. Inhale, just a little cow tilt here. Exhale, gently fold down, just let your head release, let your hips and back release. And then walk your hands under your shoulders. Crab towards your left. So your elbow comes towards your left knee. Walk your hips over, push your hips back. And then come towards the front, same thing. Then we're going to spin to the front so our hands are on the inside. And you can take lizard. You could take proud lizard, keeping your leg up, or you could drop your knee. Lift your heart. Keep your knee and your shoulder close together. You can come down if you like. There's an option where you lay down. If you're on your forearms, come back up onto your hands. Tuck your back toes at the knees on the floor. Lift it up. Step back. And just come onto side plank. Again, you can drop the left knee down on the left side. Inhale. Look down. Plant the hands. Knees, chest, chin. Come through. Maybe baby cobra or cobra pose this time. Tuck the toes. Downward facing dog. And holding down dog for a few breaths. So now we're doing the left side. So we'll empty the breath. Inhale the left leg up. And exhale, knee to nose. Duck and duck. And in. Back and duck. Coming in and stepping forward. Finding that high lunge, back knee can come to the floor, reach all the way up. And find your twist. Next exhalation, look down, pivot your back foot. Inhale, come up, find your warrior two. Exhale here, flip your palm, dancing warrior. Inhale, back into your side angle. Exhale here. Inhale, come up. Straighten that front leg. Draw the thighs towards each other to create strength. Out as far as you can. And pivot. Inhale here. Looking down, hand can come to hip, bend the knee, reach forward, find that half moon pose. And again, inhale. Look down, swing the hand down, turn the toes, big step back, find your lunge, drop your knee, extend your foot, roll your hips forward. Then hands on thigh, letting the hips move forward and down, engaging that back quad. And then if you want, reaching up. On inhalation, come up, come down, straighten that front leg. You might need to kick it forward an inch or two, flex the foot, and fold. Introduced as before, if you need a prop under your hips, find it and use it. We're coming down to sit on the inside of the right heel. And again, your knee can be out, but if you can bring it closer in, that creates more alignment, more opening. Your left hand can prop you up if you need that support. I do on this side. And then Reach for what you can. Use the strap if you need. Start to fold forward. Coming up, releasing the pose. And just as before, this time, that left knee comes out. You may not need as big a prop or any prop. This is a little more open on the hips, so a little simpler in terms of the stretch. And then you have those same options. You can bring your forearm down, reach out. You can come down with your shoulder, reach for your knee, or you can even reach underneath and hold your ankle. And again, releasing, coming up. We take the hands on the inside, we push into the hands so we can lift the hips. Take that wide-legged forward fold. This time, walk your hands out. Let your weight go into your hands and then drag your hips back so the weight comes out of the hands. The hands are like points of traction that hold you in place. Let your hips flare open as you pull them back. And then walk your hands back. Crab to the right. Crab to the left. Then spin. And find your lizard pose. Same as before. Shoulder and knee stay close. You can be up. You can come down. Then we come back up, tuck those back toes, lift, and we're stepping over into side plank on the right side this time. Inhale. Look down. Last time, knees, chest, chin, or maybe chaturanga, if you like. Upward dog. Drop the knees. Child's pose. Maybe let your knees go a little bit wider this time. You can bring your hands behind you. Just let everything rest for a few breaths. Slowly come up. We're coming towards postures on our back. We're going to do just a couple of things first. And the first one is we really haven't done, we came into wide-legged, but we didn't stay there. So we're going to take a wide-legged forward fold. So about a 90-degree angle with the legs, the point of the hips. You can use a prop, a little blanket to roll over if that's helpful. Your hands go in front of you. And you feel like as you're folding forward, you keep lifting the chest away from the floor, so if you do touch the ground, it comes down after the belly. So you're always lengthening here. Bring your hands in and come up. Take the outsides of your knees. Bring your feet together fairly far out in front of you to form sort of a diamond with the feet and legs. Inhale here. And this time you don't try to lift the chest, you just drop yourself down. So you're rounding down. You can hold your ankles, your feet, or wrap your fingers around your toes and just let everything hang. Your head is hanging from the neck from the shoulders, the back is rounding. Breathe into the belly. One more seated thing we're going to do. It's again, it's from the Trokor tradition. It's the inner pervasive sala. So we're going to do it 3 times. What we're going to do is we're going to empty the breath in this way. Empty the breath. It's like a sponge being squeezed out. So you just feel like all the breath is being squeezed out of you. You're going to make fists with the thumbs on the inside. You're going to fold down as you wrap down into the smallest little ball that you can. Empty completely. Pause there for a few seconds. Then like a sponge filling up with water, just inhaling, expanding, opening up, reaching out. And at the top of the breath, you feel like you're just completely full of breath, like your whole body is swollen almost with the breath. You pause, and we're going to go straight back down. We're going to do it 3 times. So folding back down into that ball, opening back up. And after the 3rd time, we'll just pause, and then we're going to come up to our backs. So as you're ready, open your arms. Exhale, fists with the thumbs inside. Squeeze all the air out. Contract. Open. Feel expansive here. And go right back into that contraction. Expand. One more time, contract. Open. Feel the breath just flooding into every cell of your body. The prana filling all of the subtle body. Stay here, just feel that expansiveness. And release. Breath in. And breath out. So we're just going to unravel the legs. Put the hands behind you, fingers point away. And you're just going to drop your knees to the left. And your right knee is going to just fall into the arch of your left foot. And you're going to stand all the way around into twisted cobra for a moment. So our last final twist of class. You can come down if you like. Breathe into any places that feel tight or resist. Then come back up. We're going to go straight to the other side. So knees just literally spin around to the right side. Left knee into the arch of the right foot. Hands behind you. And you can come down if you like. You can push that right foot into that left knee and pull the left knee in and find the twist a little deeper. And then we come back up, all the way around. And to move into our backs, we're going to come into Navasana. So just pull the knees up, lift the heels, reach the arms forward, open the chest up. Find Navasana. And we can do a Bastrika breath here, that really rapid breath like a dog sniffing. Stop. Put the hands down. Pull as you empty the breath, the forehead towards the knees. Then just inhale, open, and let yourself roll all the way down. And for a moment, just bring your feet together and let your knees splay out. Let everything soften. Left foot comes to the floor, right ankle comes to the thigh. Pull that knee in, reach under the left thigh. Push the right elbow into the right thigh. Pull the left knee in. So you want to really feel this opening in the, probably in the outer right hip more than anywhere else. And then just release everything, put the right foot down, switch sides, and come back into the same posture. The left knee bent out, left elbow pressing into the left thigh. And then release. Put your hands down by your hips. Your feet hip distance apart, knees point up in the air. Just inhale, curl your tailbone up, and just lift the tailbone as high as you can. You're not coming up into bridge pose. You're not lifting the spine or the shoulders. Exhale, slowly lower, and press the tailbone into the back. So it's like cows and cats. Inhale, curl in, lift it up. Exhale down, press it down, back arches. You may feel it stretching across the belly. Last time, inhale, curl it in, but keep going and lift up into bridge pose. You may need to roll your shoulders towards each other. Stay here. And if your arms are underneath, you release them. Roll all the way back down. Press the tailbone down, arch the back. Relax for a breath. And we're going to repeat bridge pose. You could, if you want a deeper bridge, you can grab the ankles and bind the ankles. If you'd like to take a wheel, you can do that instead. But in any case, we're going to lift back up into our bridge or our wheel, whatever version we take. And as you're ready, just go ahead and just lower back down. And let the body just move into a Savasana position for a moment. Now, to help us move into a deeper Savasana, we're going to do one last breath practice. We're going to inhale, and as we do, we're going to curl the fingers and the toes and clench all the muscles, even grimacing the face.
Hold the breath for maybe 5 or 10 seconds, and then just release everything. Let yourself drop immediately into Savasana. So as you inhale, everything starts to contract from the outer edges of the body in. Feel the tension everywhere. And then just drop it. As you rest in Savasana, just allow yourself to rest in yourself, in that vast space of the heart. You can take deeper breaths in and out. And start to stretch the body, flexing the fingers and the toes, maybe turning the head side to side. When you feel ready, you can draw the knees in, roll to one side, press up gently. So we always close our practice with Loka Samasta Sukhino Bhavantu, Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. May all beings have happiness, the cause of happiness, freedom, and the cause of freedom. Would you like to join me? Loka Samasta Sukhino Bhavantu. Loka Samasta Sukhino